On today's episode of Decentering Men, I want to talk about the honest fact that the hardest part about being single and living alone is by far being able to afford it. It is very expensive to be alive right now. And a lot of women, myself included, we find ourselves in these professional roles that are more supportive, right? And because of that, it's almost like they treat your pay as if it's like a supplemental income, as if you have a man making six figures at home and your money is just like shopping money or monopoly money. It's like, actually, no, my rent is almost $2,000 a month. So can we have a conversation around like I work 40 hours a week and you want to pay me $2,200 a month? Like that's literally not a livable wage. But until you kind of learn how to have that conversation and negotiate for yourself and get a better job, you're in that position because you need something, right? And all of this to say, I don't necessarily have a solution for this other than it's a double-sided conversation about earning and about spending. You got to make more money, you got to spend less money. That's the simple answer. And I don't have the answers on how to do either of those because I'm not a money girl on here, okay?
Imagine believing the payroll department is hallucinating a rich husband just to justify why a generic support role doesn't pay a CEO's salary. Companies pay for market value, not for vibes. And realizing the market doesn't value supportive roles at six figures is a hard lesson in basic economics.
So when I get upset and worked up and anxious and worried and all these things about money, because how could you not in our world, how I cope with it as a single person living by myself is I would so much rather be in this position of like, how the fuck am I going to figure this shit out? Oh my God, that position, that problem, than what I would imagine the other end of the pendulum swing to be of I am financially strapped to a man. I will never find myself in that position because I refuse to have to stay in a relationship because I need somebody's finances in order to survive. I can't do it. I'm so unbelievably terrified of that. I'm terrified of that and going further, terrified of having a baby with that person, getting pregnant by that person. That is my personal nightmare. So all of this to say, if you are a single person living alone and it's really hard when it comes time to pay rent and pay all the bills, do all the things, just know, yes, it's hard. You are allowed to be worried. And the other end of the spectrum ain't that much better.
Framing destitution and panic attacks as a victory over the nightmare of a stable family unit is the ultimate cope. She's decentered men right out of her life and straight into financial insolvency, proving that independence tastes fantastic when the rent check bounces. Yo guys, remember to hit that subscribe button. We're trying to reach 500 billion subscribers at the end of the year. Just kidding, we're not that delusional like these women you're about to see.
Beware of liberal men. They are just as dangerous as the super conservative ones because those men are telling you they're using feminism against you. Feminism is about choice, but they're literally saying, well, you want it to be equal. Okay, go ahead and pay for your own shit. Go ahead and pay. Okay, you want it to be equal. Well, go ahead and work. Why do I have to take care of you? Why do I have to spend money? Why do I have to pay for things? You want to be equal? You can be equal. While we are still not equal in society, in any society across the globe, in any country across the globe.
Warning women about men who actually listen to their demands for equality is peak comedy. The danger she's terrified of is simply a man who treats her like the independent adult she claims to be. Smashing the patriarchy isn't nearly as fun when you realize that benevolent sexism was the only thing paying for dinner.
And then on top of that, they don't share the emotional burdens, the mental burdens, the physical burdens, the burden of pregnancy, the burdens of the dangers that we face in society by other men that they don't stand up to. Be very, very, very careful because that's very dangerous. A liberal man's gonna sit there and tell you, oh, I support your rights. Oh, yeah, I support you getting everything. Because he doesn't want to do those things for you. He's thinking from an actual perspective where he is extremely selfish.
Listing pregnancy, emotional burdens, and existing in society as receipts she can cash in for a free lifestyle is a bold strategy. She's furious that the male ally she demanded is actually just a guy who expects her to handle her own business. Apparently, respecting her autonomy is selfish the moment it stops the cash flow.
A liberal man is just as dangerous as a conservative man, okay? You want one in between. You want one outside of those catalogs, okay? Think for yourself. Again, ask them what their values are, why they think that. If I'm equal to you, then what is your fucking purpose? Let's not forget that they are extracting more out of you. Literally, they're getting you to pay for yourself and them while getting full access to you. Full access to your health, to your body, to your mind, to your soul, to your heart, to everything at no cost. In fact, you are technically paying them to be there because you're paying for your own shit. So you as the experience, as the woman, you're free. And how do you expect them to value you? Any man who thinks he should go 50-50 with you is a very dangerous man. Is a very dangerous man. Okay? Very dangerous, does not care for you, does not care about you, and wants to get everything out of you for nothing. Okay?
Asking what is your purpose if he isn't paying the bills is the most honest admission of transactional love imaginable. She views her own presence as a billable service and is offended that he wants a free trial. A man expecting a partner instead of a dependent isn't dangerous. He's just a threat to her parasitic business model.
So my boyfriend makes double than I do, and he still wants to split everything 50-50. My boyfriend and I have been together for 9 years, but we've only lived together for 4. I have student loans and he doesn't, and up until recently, we've always split everything 50-50. The thing is, a few months ago, he jumped to $45 an hour while I was still at $31 an hour, and that's when I finally had the courage to ask him if we could start splitting bills and rent proportionately. He got very upset at first and said, okay, I'll pay off your debt and then you pay me back. And then asked me, where is this coming from? Like, you've never had a problem with this. Why are you bringing this up now? He also said that he wouldn't ask this of me if it was the opposite, like if I made more than him, which obviously made me feel really guilty, especially because he was talking in a very condescending, aggressive tone. And I just really didn't say anything back. I just started crying, but in the end, he agreed to do it. But fast forward to now, he earns $60 an hour while I still make $31 an hour. So now we have to adjust to his new pay. So last night, while we were going over splitting rent and bills for this month, he was calculating the new proportional splitting. He had this very annoyed look to him. He didn't say anything, but I knew what he was thinking, and I just said, you make almost double than I do. And then after I said this, he just asked me if once my loan is paid off, we could go back to the old 50-50 system. I felt so offended, like my stomach dropped. We're not even married, and we don't have kids, and what will happen once we do build a family? How is he gonna handle, for example, when I'm on maternity leave and I make 50% less of what I do now? Like, will he still ask for us to split everything 50-50? I honestly feel super guilty when I bring up this subject to him, and I try to avoid it because I just don't want to fight with him. How do relationships last when someone makes significantly more money than the other person?
Equality evaporated the moment he started winning. This guy doubled his income, and his reward was unlocking a lifetime subscription to financial negotiations. She's bringing her personal student debt to the table and crying because he won't view her financial baggage as a joint venture. It starts with proportional bills. But notice how she immediately fast forwards to marriage, kids, and maternity leave. He just got a raise and immediately got drafted into long-term provider planning. He realizes he's sleeping with a socialist who thinks fairness means taxing his success to subsidize her stagnation. If the roles were reversed, she'd be calling him a dusty for not being on her level.
You know what's fucked up? How women have to work full time while they're on their periods. Literally, blood is leaving their system. Like, your energy is low, you're moody, you don't feel good, you have back pain, your breasts are tender, like the list goes on and on and on. Like, you have migraines, like your head is killing you, and you still have to work the same amount of time as like men that don't experience any of this crap. How is that even fair? That's fucking mind-blowing.
Generations of feminists marched so she could have the privilege of answering emails in a cubicle. And now she's horrified to discover that the equality she inherited implies equal output regardless of how she feels. She wants the authority and the paycheck of a man. But the moment biology kicks in, she demands the special treatment of a protected species. It's the ultimate irony, fighting to enter the workforce only to realize that the patriarchy she hates was actually the only thing allowing her to rest.
It's so uncomfortable for men to be out-earned by their female partners that they've been shown to lie about their earnings. Now, this was found in a study called Manning Up and Womaning Down. It found that in census data, women who out-earned their male partners underestimated what they earned, while men who were out-earned by their female partners overestimated what they earned. And the researchers say they did this to ease discomfort and maintain the status quo.
This woman is trying to oversell the study. It didn't prove men were lying out of insecurity. It just found survey numbers differ from tax records when the wife earns more. That gap could come from proxy reporting, rounding, or confusion about income. At most, it shows something interesting around breadwinner norms, not a smoking gun about male discomfort. But let's do a quick survey here. Write your thoughts in the comments section if you would love to have a partner that earns more than you.
If I went on a date with a guy who made like $10 million a year and looked exactly like Channing Tatum and had a smoking hot body, but we went to dinner and he paid $400 for dinner, but then only tipped like $10 to $20, I would never see him again. I do not give a fuck who it is. I would never fucking see him again. I think that's so fucking embarrassing, especially when you have money like that and you're not gonna tip. Ew, that's actually so fucking disgusting.
Good for you, but we all know most women don't share the same view. They'd tolerate every red flag a man has if he makes $10 million a year, with or without the Channing Tatum face.
Okay, so I need to know if I'm in the minority for this opinion. Is it a major ick if you make more money than your significant other? Husband, boyfriend, fiance, whatever. If you're making more money than him, does that turn you off? Because for me, yes. I find it very like a big ick, and I feel like it's just not very primal. I feel like the man should make more money. Even if he's in a job that makes less money than you, he should like pick up more hours or get another job to make more money than you. Does that make sense? I don't know, because I was talking to my friend from work and she has the opposite thing. She says she'd rather be the one that makes more money. Therefore, if she makes more money, she can be like the decision maker and the like dominant one in the relationship. And I was like, no, like I need my partner to be making more money than me. Otherwise, I feel like I'm the man. Like, who agrees with me on this?
It's absolutely soul-crushing that she's asking him to work himself to death, picking up extra shifts and second jobs. Not because they're starving, but because she can't respect a man she can't financially exploit. She feels like the man because she's finally experiencing the suffocating pressure to perform that men live with every single day, and she hates it. This is the reality men face. You can be a loyal, loving partner, but if you aren't a superior ATM, you're nothing but an ick.
Women want the top dogs, okay? As much as women want to say, we like dad bods, we like this. No, we don't. No, we don't. That's what society taught us to like. They taught us to not have standards, to not care about physical appearance and all this other stuff. At the end of the day, we want the top dog, the top genetics, the top earning, the strongest and the tallest at the end of the damn day, okay? It could be about maybe 1 million men on this planet, just of the top tier, and we'd be fine. Like, honestly, most women don't have a problem with polyamory and all these other things if it's the top dog you're dealing with. That's why a lot of these wealthy men have how many baby mamas does Elon Musk have? How many baby mamas all these popular, famous artists have? All these, billionaires and millionaires, they have multiple baby mamas. Don't ever get that mistaken, okay? We want the top dog. We want a big dog. We don't want no puppy. And we saw that with Anthony Joshua, who just hit the streets like crack in the 80s, okay? Every woman internationally united, okay? Because we want the top dog. Women, we all say, I would never submit to this man. I'm not going to do this, and blah, blah, blah. And men complain, women are difficult, this and this. You think a woman would be difficult with a man like that? You think a woman would be difficult with Luigi Mangione or Jeremy Meeks or the Aaron Pierres, whatever your flavor is, your preferred flavor is, okay? At the end of the day, you gotta be a big dog if you want big requests. And most of you, please, just please.
Listing Jeremy Meeks and Luigi Mangione as top dogs really clears up the moral confusion. It proves that high value has nothing to do with character and everything to do with tingling her biology. She's admitting that all those headaches, boundaries, and independent woman speeches she gives the average guy are completely optional. She's not fighting the patriarchy, she's just deciding you aren't worth the submission she'd freely give to a criminal with a modeling contract. It confirms she'd rather be the 7th side piece for a winner than the loyal wife of a decent man.